But I also look at it from a honest lens of like, where is that coming from? That is coming from the Jewish media that's telling them these crazy things. And I know that's like another thing that, oh my gosh, you can't say that. But like, it's no secret who owns most of the media. And so, I just think there has to be responsibility. I mean, if Muslims own the media and they were doing this, we would be going nuts.
Yeah.
But this message is not coming from Muslims. It's not coming from Christians. And so, I'm just calling it out.
If you ever wanted absolute proof that our political class is trapped in a literal humiliation ritual for foreign interests, you are about to see it. We are looking at a complete narrative meltdown from a recent episode of the Deep State podcast. You've got host John Kiriakou, who is an actual, literal, former CIA officer sitting down with Dan Bilzerian. And what they expose is so unhinged, so completely covered up by corporate media, that it honestly makes you question what country we are even living in right now. We're talking about Kiriakou exposing how the Israeli Mossad is straight up banned from the CIA headquarters because they keep trying to bug the conference rooms. He details the sick, retaliatory harassment campaigns they carry out against American agents on the ground. And then Bilzerian completely lays out the financial and political blackmail, keeping Washington on a leash. Look, stick around till the very end, because I'm going to be giving my full thoughts, breaking down the insane free speech suppression happening in states like Florida, and tracking the money behind this entire grift. If you're sick of the sanitized, gate-kept lies, do me a quick favor and hit that subscribe button right now. You are watching Floor Leader Insider. Let's roll the tape.
We are sitting in Miami, Florida, and just about 2 months ago, Governor Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, pushed through the Florida legislature a bill making it a criminal offense to criticize Israel. A criminal offense, obviously, clearly unconstitutional, so it'll have to work its way through the courts. But right now, it is a felony to criticize Israel. So I happened to be here about 4 weeks ago, and a woman just nearby the studio in Miami Beach wrote a Facebook post criticizing Israel on purpose. The very next day, police, did you post this thing in Israel on Facebook criticizing Israel? She said, yes, I did. You're under arrest. Well, not only did the Florida legislature pass this ridiculous bill into law, Governor DeSantis didn't sign it right away. Instead, once it was passed, he flew to Israel, signed it in the presence of Benjamin Netanyahu, and then gave Netanyahu the pen as a souvenir. I'm confused as to what country I'm living in these days.
Yeah, it's almost like a humiliation ritual. I mean, Randy Fine was supportive of that as well. I mean, he helped pass the anti-Semitism laws. And the crazy thing is, if you were to say the things that he say about Muslims, about Jews, you would be in jail.
Oh, yeah. I'd be in jail. That's right.
How is that not the height of hypocrisy?
That's right.
Like, I don't understand it. And it's just, for some reason, it's being accepted. And I'm just tired of it, I'm tired of tiptoeing around it.
You said something a minute ago that I want to explore. You said you believe Randy Fine is worried because of some of the positions that he's taken. They're not playing well right now in this election. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think he sees, like, his comments. I mean, everybody hates him. He did the TMZ interview after I did. And you know what? They gave me a lot of shit on there, but I got to give them credit. They gave Randy a lot more, and they held his feet to the fire, and they did come with receipts. So I do have to give them a little credit for that. But I think his PR team was probably well, at least he was pretty heated with his PR team after that, I'm sure, because that was a rough interview. And since then, he's gone on some softball interviews. But if you look at he did Tim Pool's podcast, and they had to turn off the comment section. They literally had to turn it off because it was just roasting him. And then people were actually paying money to roast him because they made it the comment section monetized. And people hated him so much that they were paying the podcast to talk to him on air. And so I found that that's pretty telling. So I think he understands. If this is a nationwide election, he would be smoked. The only thing that he has in his favor is the fact that 70% of this district is 55 years and older, and they got propagandized with this Israel's our greatest ally, like blah 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 blah. They still think it's just right against the left, and if we get rid of these liberals, then we're gonna be fine. And it's I get it. The liberals are crazy. Their talking points are nuts. Yeah. But I also look at it from a honest lens of where is that coming from? That is coming from the Jewish media that's telling them these crazy things. And I know that's another thing that, oh my gosh, you can't say that. But it's no secret who owns most of the media. And so, I just think there has to be responsibility. I mean, if Muslims own the media and they were doing this, we would be going nuts.
Yeah.
But this message is not coming from Muslims. It's not coming from Christians. And so, I'm just calling it out. And with respect to him being scared, I just look at what he's saying. I mean, he never in a million years would have said that he was going to cut off funding to Israel, because he talks about Israel all the time. I mean, every post is either about Israel or him visiting this college to talk about anti-Semitism. It's either about Jewishness or Israel constantly. And I think people are tired of that, like they're waking up to the fact that Jews are not victims. They're crushing it. They're overrepresented in everything. They're doing really good. And, and not that like, I'm like, these, we got to get rid of these Jews or whatever. I'm just saying, like, they have to have some responsibility with this massive disproportionate amount of power that they have. And it's like, if you're wielding the power, fine, then no problem, no criticism. But, anybody that is in a position of power in America should be able to be criticized.
Totally agree. I happened to be in Germany the other day filming a documentary. And one of the things that I noticed was the Germans still have this sense of national guilt because of the Second World War. Okay, deservedly so. They were monsters. But they have bent so far backward to try to atone for what they did in the Second World War that now they are blindly and completely pro-Israel, to the point where, like in Florida, in Germany, it is illegal to criticize Israel. You just cannot do it. They will prosecute you. And in fact, what they've ended up doing is they've gotten themselves in bed with the Israelis on genocide. Genocide in Gaza, an unfolding genocide in Iran. What is it, 3,000 civilians have been, 30,000 civilians have been killed? Whatever it is, the number I'm unclear on.
No. We went in there to free them.
Right. Right.
A week later, we're going to bomb you into the Stone Age. But we came here to liberate you. We came here to free you. Don't mind us. We bombed children's schools, blow up your bridges, threaten to nuke your entire country, but like we're here to help you out. Just trust the plan.
I tell this story all the time about the night before we attacked Iraq. I was the CIA director's note taker in the final principals committee meeting the night before we attacked Iraq. So it's chaired by the vice president. We've got Secretary of State Colin Powell, National Security Advisor Condoleezza Rice, Secretary of Defense Don Rumsfeld, the chairman and vice chairman of the Joint Chiefs, a whole bunch of big muckety-mucks. And General Tommy Franks gave the order of battle briefing. That's how he started off the meeting. I'm sitting directly behind George Tenet, the CIA director. And General Franks finishes his briefing by saying, his exact words, "If all goes as planned, we can be in Tehran by August." And George turns off his microphone and he leans back and he says to me, "Did he say Tehran or did he say Baghdad?" And I said, "He said Tehran."
Yeah.
At the end of it, as we were getting up to leave the meeting, one of the guys from one of the senior directors at the National Security Council says, "As soon as we cross that border tomorrow, they're going to throw flowers at us." And I went back to I was working for the deputy director at the time. And he said, "How was the principals committee meeting?" And I said, "Did you know we were going to invade Iran?" And he said, "Are they still talking about that? We're not going to invade Iran." And I said, "Do these people know nothing about history?" And he said, "No, they know nothing about history." Here we are now, 23 years later, and the President of the United States was convinced, easily by all reports, that as soon as the first missile were to fly, the Iranian government would collapse like a house of cards. And anybody with any brains at all knew that was ridiculous, and that was a Netanyahu talking point going back to the 1990s. So now here we are, almost out of missiles, unable to protect 2 aircraft carrier strike forces, and no end in sight to this conflict.
But hey, week 1, we won already.
Yeah, we won. We won like 4 times already.
Don't forget, we already won.
Somebody asked me the other day, "How do you think this ends?" I said, it ends when we wake up one morning and we look at Truth Social and the president said in the middle of the night, "It's all over, we won. I'm bringing everybody home. We win." Big parade on Constitution Avenue. And sure enough, the next day, that's what he said for like the 4th time. Yeah, we won. It's over.
Doesn't say that at the gas pump.
No, it does not.
And yeah, the strait's still closed. I just don't know how long people can be lied to before they open their eyes. I mean, they're going to feel it. They are feeling it, and it's pretty obvious. And I think he got dog walked into that war. I don't think that
so
he
too.
wanted to go to
No,
war.
I don't think he did.
I don't think he had a choice, which is the scary part. Like, I don't think we have full sovereignty. And so that, to me, is the part that I think we really need to look into. Is like, why are we actually in this war? Because they even said so. The only reason we attacked is because Israel was going to attack, so we had to. Like, what is that? That is not a relationship of a country that we are providing a ton of aid to. Like, we should have a say in what they do. And it seems like it's the other way around. I'm just looking at this like a completely one-sided relationship. I feel like we're like a battered wife. It's like, what are we doing?
Right.
Like they keep screwing us over. They sell our secrets. They steal our uranium. Like, how many times can this country screw us over? And you were in the CIA. Like, I mean, what was your experience with Mossad agents? I mean, because I know it wasn't good. I've seen a little bit, but I want to hear it from the horse's mouth here.
Yeah, it was not good at all. Not only did we not like working with the Israeli Mossad, we didn't permit them in the building. It was literally the very first thing that I learned when I got to the agency. We do not brief Mossad in the building. They're not welcome here. Because
stealing, bugging, right?
They would always come with gifts, right? They come with a big seal of the CIA. First of all, they're everywhere. We don't need any more seals of the CIA. Least of all, one coming from the Israeli embassy. And it weighs 3 times what it should weigh, because it's packed with batteries and listening devices. And we're like, guys, you got to stop doing this. And then they laugh. Oh, all in good fun. No, it's not. You're trying to bug the conference room again. Yeah. So we have to, rent office space, and we just meet with him in the office. I tell this story too. The first liaison briefing I ever gave, I was only 6 weeks on the job, was to Mossad and Shin Bet. And so, because I was the youngest, newest analyst, I went last. So the chief analyst starts first, then the political guy, the military guy, the oil guy, this guy, that guy, comes to me. And because I was overt at the time, I was not undercover, I used my true name. I said, I'm John Kiriakou, I'm here to brief you on, X, Y, and Z. And the guy, the Mossad guy, has his glasses like this, and he says, spell your name? So I spell my name. And he goes, you are Jewish? And I said, I am not recruitable. Don't even think about it. I am not recruitable. I go back to the office. My boss said, how was it? I said, man, I am so mad right now. This guy practically cold pitched me right there in the office in front of everybody. And he laughs and he says, they've done that to every one of us in our first briefings with them. It's like they can't help themselves. And I've told this story many, many times, that I had a colleague who went to Israel and was an overt employee. So the chief took him to Mossad and said, this is my guy, he's a CIA officer, his wife is going to work with you guys, he's going to go to the university and learn how to speak Arabic. Okay, so no problems, no threats, no nothing. The first time they went to dinner at the ambassador's house, they came back after the dinner and all their living room furniture had been rearranged. Just as a message that we can do anything we want and there's nothing you can do about it. So months later, they go to another dinner at the ambassador's residence. They come back to the house and people had, it's a family show, people had defecated in all of the toilets in their house and just left it unflushed.
Wow.
And then another year passes, they're getting ready to leave to come back to the States, and the ambassador has a going away party for them. They get back to the house. Someone had gone in the house, cut the dog's tail off, and then wrapped it in medical gauze and tape. And the dog is whimpering under the dining room table. And these are our best friends in the world, right?
That's crazy.
This is how they treat us. And every time it happens, we have to go to the Mossad and say, stop harassing our people. And then they say, okay, and they back off for a year, maybe 2, and then the whole thing starts again.
Yeah, that's insane. I mean, how were you treated with other foreign countries, like even ones that we weren't allies with? I feel like it would be better than that.
Completely professionally. No problems at all. I literally never did I have a problem with a foreign intelligence service, ever. except the Israelis just cold pitching me right there in front of all my colleagues.
Yeah, I think that level of arrogance should tell you a lot. You know.
And they know that there's no downside to it. They're not going to be punished in any way.
Yeah.
Not in any way. Nobody liked working with them. You just couldn't trust them.
What do people say when you tell that story? Because that's pretty compelling.
Well, it's funny. The people I know are interested, and they say, oh my God, that's terrible. It's a shame. It's good that you're telling the story. People I don't know call me an anti-Semite, threaten me with death, call me a Jew hater. I got day before yesterday, I'm a Jew hater, apparently.
Yeah.
You know,
well,
what
that's
can you do?
actually, so on TMZ, he was going to switch over to Jew hater because I had issue with the term anti-Semite because I'm like, well, you know,
the Arabs are Semites.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. So like Israel and, you know, and the Jews over there are actually the most anti-Semitic people, you know, on the planet because they're killing all the Semites, right? So I had issue with the term, and I think the term has been weaponized. So
100%.
I didn't want to be called that. And so the other host was like, okay, we'll just say Jew hater. And the main host, who was Jewish, was like, no, we're not losing this term. And it was like this, you saw this like battle in real time. And it's weird because, you know, the word anti-Semite has kind of been hijacked to mean Jew hater.
Boy,
so
has
really like that's, to me, when I think of anti-Semite, I think of Jew hater because that's what they've turned the word into. And the fact that he wouldn't accept that, which would be a more descriptive thing. I mean, that's, you know, basically what he wanted to call me, which isn't accurate because I don't hate all Jews. I don't think that every Jew is responsible for all this stuff. And in fact, I have Jews that are friends. And so, you know, it's like, I mean, Bobby Fischer, he was like 100% Jewish. And he said the Jews are like trying to ruin the world, you know, and you got guys like Max Blumenthal that are calling this out. So it's like, you know, it's not a complete monolith. I acknowledge that, but it's weird because they want to act like it's a monolith.
Yeah,
you know, they want to treat it like, you know, every Jew is a part of the tribe and is protected. And if you say one thing about this Jew, you're saying it about all Jews. And if you say something about Israel, you're saying it about all Jews. So they're actually the ones that are pushing this narrative of a monolith. It's not us. It's like it's them because, you know, the fact that they would coin that, you know, any criticism of Israel as anti-Semitic literally says that they are saying that if you criticize this country, you're criticizing all Jews. So it's weird. It's once again this hypocrisy of like they can say these things, but if you say it, you're an anti-Semite.
Let that sink in for a second. Just really process what an actual CIA insider just admitted on tape. You have a foreign intelligence service, our supposed greatest ally, literally getting caught trying to bug CIA conference rooms with electronic listening devices packed into fake gifts. And when American officers don't comply, what happens? They face disgusting, unhinged harassment. Breaking into an American ambassador's employee's home, vandalizing the property, leaving human waste in toilets, and literally mutating a family dog. It is sociopathic. And Kiriakou's boss's response? Oh, just tell them to stop harassing our people, because there is absolutely no downside for them, no accountability, no consequences. Dan Bilzerian hit the nail on the head when he called it a battered wife relationship. Think about the math here. They steal American secrets, they steal our uranium, they drag us into endless, multi-trillion-dollar wars to create regional chaos for their own benefit, and we just keep cutting the checks. And if you dare to question it, if you're an American citizen who says, hey, maybe my tax dollars should stay inside my own community, they weaponize labels. They call you a Jew hater or an anti-Semite to completely destroy your life. Even though, as Dan rightly pointed out, the corporate media has spent the last 30 years programming Americans through Hollywood to view all Muslims as a subhuman monolith. That propaganda is totally fine, but criticizing a foreign government's policy gets you blacklisted. Look at what's happening in Florida right now. Kiriakou pointed out that Governor Ron DeSantis literally pushed through a bill, making it a criminal offense, a felony to criticize Israel. And instead of signing it at his desk in Tallahassee, DeSantis literally flew to Israel, signed the law in front of Benjamin Netanyahu, and handed him the pen as a souvenir. It is a complete surrender of American constitutional sovereignty. They are making American citizens felons on American soil to protect a foreign nation from political criticism. This is exactly what we expose here on Floor Leader Insider. The uniparty doesn't care about your First Amendment rights. They care about keeping the money flowing to the defense contractors and the super PACs that fund their political campaigns. They need the region in perpetual chaos because peace doesn't liquidate weapons systems, and peace doesn't generate billions in defense revenue. They want you terrified to speak up. They want you policing your own tongue so you don't look at the raw financial capture of our government. But the curtain is completely pulled back, and the grift is fully unmasked. If you are done with the fake, sanitized corporate narratives and want to stand up for the raw truth, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. Smash the like button, drop your thoughts on Kiriakou's CIA stories in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.